welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Vlogmas video. I hope whatever you're doing, you're having a wonderful day. In today's video, I thought we could just sit down and do one of my favourite things to do, and that is just play with makeup because it's nearly the end of the year. So I've been thinking about what my favourite products of 2022 have been, and I thought, why don't I just share that with you? I love makeup. Hopefully if you're watching this video you love makeup, so let's just play with some makeup today, talk about some of my favourite products, show me using them, and yeah, I thought that could be fun. So if you like the sound of that, please keep watching, and if you are new here and you love all things beauty, fashion, lifestyle, then please do subscribe and stick around. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could give it a thumbs up, it really helps me to know that you want me to keep making more videos like this, because I would love to. I just need to know if you want to watch them. So shall we, in true get ready with me style, I haven't even brushed my hair. Shall we try and make ourselves look somewhat presentable so I don't sit here with a bee's nest for the whole duration of this video? I'm probably going to need a wee bit of dry shampoo, so I'm testing out the Got To Be dry shampoo at the moment. I've used it once, so I don't have any thoughts for you. So let's just pour. It tastes disgusting. Pour. Don't get it in your mouth. I like to just get it in my hair and let it sit there for ages before I brush it out, so that it has the potential to do the most. So I'll push my hair out my face. I'm just gonna moisturize and then we'll start talking about all of the products. In case you're interested in the moisturiser, actually, not that this is a moisturiser skincare kind of video, I'm still loving the Dr. Barbara Sturm face cream, but I'm not willing to promote it to you because it's like £100 and something to buy, because that's like a little travel size. It's £100 and something for the full one, and when that runs out, unless I somehow get it in a box or a calendar or something, I will most likely never use it again. So I can't in good conscience tell you to go and purchase that, because I love it, I really do, but I don't love it £100 and odd worth. Okay, so I'm looking at my pile of products, and most of these have been solid favourites for the majority of this year. Some came in about halfway through, and some of them have just like snuck in right at the end, but most of these are sort of tried, tested, true, and have been put to good use over the years. Some of them have even been repurchased. That's how much I love them. So we're going to start with primer. This is probably no surprise because I've talked about this primer quite a lot. I am not a primer girl, but I love this primer. It's from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Brightening Youth Glow Brightening Colour Correcting Glow Primer. I just love this because it makes my dry skin just look a bit more glowy and radiant and hydrated. I'm about 2/3 of the way through this, and I do have a backup ready for when this runs out. Maybe, yeah, I'd say about 2/3, maybe even 3/4, because it's, yeah, like I said, it's the only primer that I've ever been like, oh, I really like that, and I use it 9 times out of 10 when I do my makeup. And you don't need a lot, so it lasts a long time. Like, I think I've had this nearly a year. Did I get it last Black Friday? So I've had it a year. So it's probably about time I get it finished up, because what's the shelf life? 12 months. Though I can't really say I pay the most attention to shelf life. I'm trying to get better with things like mascaras and eyeliners, but I'm definitely not a stickler for the shelf life rules, especially when it comes to powder. Like, liquids is different, but powder, I'm pretty chill about. When it comes to foundation, oh, this is looking a bit grubby. This is the only problem with this packaging. It gets a bit grubby. My favourite foundation of the year is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. Now, I have mine in the shade Mont Blanc, which is actually a bit too dark for me in winter. I think I need a shade lighter for winter, but this stuff is pricey. I do actually have to just say that to begin with. I think there's quite a few pricier items in here, but to me they are all worth it because I love them all, but I know that we're all on different budgets. So let me know if you want me to do like a specific drugstore favourite products of the year, because I can do that for you. Like, I think there's 1 or 2 drugstore things in here, but most of it is on the more high end. So if you want me to do that video, let me know in the comments, because I can do that for you. So yeah, like I said, ignore if this is a little bit orange on me. It worked in summer. I didn't think I was more tanned in summer, but it turns out maybe I was. use my sponge. It's not the oldest sponge. It just needs a wash. As soon as you touch the sponge to foundation, it looks dirty. Like so yeah, excuse the maybe slightly mucky sponge. It is a newer one. They just always look a bit gross. I love this foundation because it just lasts all day on my skin, and it doesn't look like patchy or dry on my dry skin, and it gives a great coverage without being super thick. Like, it's quite a thinner consistency foundation. Like, it's not the thinnest and it's not like water-like, but you can see the amount of coverage with a much thinner formula, which I really like. I don't like, and now I'm covered in foundation. I'll just wipe up my pyjama bottoms because yes, I am in my pyjamas. We get dressed at the end of Get Ready With Me videos. It's not too thick, which I don't like because that can look a bit cakey, especially on my dry skin, but it gives enough coverage because I do like coverage in my foundation. I do have some lighter coverage foundations, but most of the time if I'm putting foundation on, I want to see it get to work and give me some coverage, even out my skin tone and cover up any like blemishes that I have going on. So that's how the foundation's looking. It's just evened me out. It doesn't look completely unnatural. Like, you can still see my whatever this mark is, I'm not entirely sure, but peeking through a little bit. So if I wanted to cover things up, I would probably go in with my NARS, what's this one called, Soft Matte Complete Concealer, just to do a bit of spot concealing. But I tend to not really do that too often. I just tend to use concealer to focus under my eyes. So I probably should tell you, this is my favourite concealer for spot concealing. It's super full coverage, does the trick. This is in Light One Chantilly. You know what I mean. So if you're looking for a good spot concealer, I would definitely recommend that. But the concealer that I use for underneath my eyes is again from NARS. This is the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and again I have this in the same shade Chantilly. I think this is gorgeous under the eyes. It's not too light, but it gives enough coverage and it blends in really beautifully, and it doesn't look drying under my eyes. So this has been, I've used this every other time I've done my makeup since I got it, so that just goes to show how much I've been loving it. So I tend to just put, let me actually look in the mirror, I focus some in the inner corner, and then I do a bit of a line there and a bit of a line there. I know everyone has their own ways of doing concealer, but that's sort of the way that I do mine. And I'll usually, when I've got it on my sponge, like get it on my upper eyelids as well, because I don't really prime my eyes. I've never really got into primer, but I do use a bit of the leftover concealer just to prime my eyes. So first of all, I want to blend that into my inner corner, and then I just take it across and upwards to give myself hopefully a little bit of a lift, and then I'll take whatever is left of my sponge onto my eyelid, and then hopefully I just look a little bit more awake. Like, I will go to work without makeup sometimes. Like when I'm working from home, I will go into meetings sometimes without makeup. But if I don't have concealer under my eyes, I think I just look so tired and dead. Like, I just don't feel like I look well. So for me, this is a step that is like just a non-negotiable in my makeup, and I feel like makes the world of difference. Once I've done it with the sponge, I do go in with my finger just to sort of press it into the skin a little bit and make sure it's blended in really nicely before I go in with setting powder. So for setting powder, this is one of the products that I'm on my second one of the year of, and it is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. Now I have mine in shade 1, which is the fair/pale shade. And I got onto the hype of this product very late in the game, and since I have had this in my life, again, every other time I do my makeup, I use this. This is just beautiful for setting under the eyes. Like I said, this is my second one. I don't tend to set most of my face because I do have dry skin, and most of the foundations that I use dry down by themselves so that I don't need to powder. But what I do is I'll take some on my sponge, just a little bit, pat out underneath my eye, and then press the powder in to underneath my eye and on my eyelid, because I like to set my concealer before I go in with eyeshadow. Then I do the same thing on the other under eye And then I do set my smile lines as well. But that is pretty much it for powder. And then maybe just go over like the center of my face with any excess. But really it's for under eyes, and it just smooths out my under eyes so beautifully. And it means that they stay set and don't sort of crease. The wrinkles under my eyes do come through. Like I have some quite deep set wrinkles under my eyes, and there is nothing that makeup can do to get rid of those. But I do find that the combination of this concealer and this powder works the best for me out of anything that I've tried so far. So then I go on to bronzer, and my favourite bronzer of the year has to be the Park Ave Prince from Tarte. I love this bronzer so much. Like you can maybe even see the dent that I'm making in it, because this is just the perfect shade for me. And also I don't like a bronzer that's too light or too like pigmented. I like it somewhere in the middle, so I can still build it up, but I don't have to spend 10 hours putting layers on. So I absolutely love this. It's the Amazonian Clay Matte Waterproof Bronzer. That's the full name of the bronzer. And yeah, like I said, I have been absolutely loving this. So let's just bronze up a little bit, bring a bit of colour. I don't go too heavy with the bronzer because I am quite pale, so I don't like to, you know, shove too much on, but I do like to bring myself a little bit to life, bring a bit of colour, a bit of dimension into my face. I usually apply it on my cheeks like there, and then on my temples and down the side of my face. I'll put a little bit underneath my chin, and I saw a trick that says you should bring it down like in a triangle shape underneath your chin. I don't know who told me that, some makeup artist on YouTube. I think it might have been Robert Walsh actually. I think it might have been a Robert Walsh video where he said that you should do that with your bronzer. I don't like to bring it too far down onto my forehead. It's really just in my hairline, which I have to be careful of when I have like super blonde roots, but whilst I'm keeping a darker root, it's okay. I don't have to worry about that same problem. Next up is blush, and I think, do we class Milani as drugstore? Because I think in the UK Milani is a lot more expensive than it is in America. So for us, I think this is like 12, 15 pounds maybe. So I would call that sort of in the middle. So not quite drugstore and definitely not high end, but not the most affordable. But I have been so obsessed with this blush. It's the Baked Powder Blush in Luminoso, and it's just the most beautiful pinky peachy shade with a gorgeous, gorgeous amount of sheen. Like, I absolutely love this. It's the right level of pigmented for me. It gives me a nice glow because I do prefer a glowy blush, and I just absolutely love the colour. So I tend to focus my blush on like the top, the higher part of my apple, and then I bring it up like this. So I just get a bit on my brush, tap off the excess because we don't want to be too blushed. So then I'll smile and I'll get like the higher part of my cheek, my apples, and then I just bring it upwards like that. And I like to sort of stipple it on a little bit and then blend it out a little bit. And it just gives me a really beautiful, natural glow, like healthy look to my skin. Like, I'm very late to the blush game. I used to not be a blush person at all, but this year I got on the blush train with everyone else. It definitely took me a little bit longer, but I am now firmly on the blush train and I absolutely love it. And I've just got a really beautiful glow and sheen to my cheeks. So I love it. Okay, now moving on to highlighter. I felt a bit mean with my highlighter choice, so I've chosen two. And the reason I felt a bit mean is that the highlighter that has been my favourite this year, and I couldn't deny that this has been my favourite, is no longer available to purchase. So I've tried to find the closest comparable blush in my collection so that if you like this, you can get something pretty similar. So my favourite has been the Becca Pearl Glow Luster Glow Powder. I love this thing. I have had this in my life for a year now, and honestly, if ever I look in my drawer at highlighters, I have to make myself pick something else because I love this that much. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful, glowy, light pink highlighter. I love it so much. But the one that I've managed to find that I think is the most comparable from my collection is actually from Wet n Wild. So this is an affordable, really affordable brand. This is the MegaGlo Highlighting Powder in Blossom Glow. So let me swatch them next to each other for you. So we'll do the Becca one first. So, so pretty. So this is, where am I going to do this? Should I do it on my hand here? No, let's do it here. This is the Becca. So it's just a beautiful light pink, super glowy, pretty highlighter. And then this is the Wet n Wild. So I'll pop it right next to on top. So I would say the Becca is a tiny bit darker than the Wet n Wild. Like, I can see that. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. Like, there is a subtle difference between the two, but by time I blend them, like, you can hardly see that difference at all. So if you like the Becca one and you don't have it already, maybe check out the Wet n Wild. But if you have this in your collection and you forgot about it, dig it out, because you're lucky to have it, because honestly, I love it so much. So I just swirl my brush, tap off the excess, and then really focus on this part of my cheek. So I just sweep it on, blend it in, and do the same on the other side. Sweep on, and then a bit of a blend. And then take whatever is left, a bit on my nose, a bit on my lip, and then highlight my temples. But there's hardly any on my brush by that point, so it's just a little bit of like playing with where light hits the face, and then I go back in and blend this in a little bit more. I think that is so beautiful. And once I put my setting spray on, it like activates the highlight and brings it to life even more. Shall we just, I always have to look in the direct light with highlighter to see, yeah, that's super glowy. It's harder to see highlight without like light shining on it, because I don't like highlight that you can see. Like, I don't want you to be able to see it like on my skin until the light hits me and you're like, oh, she's got a pretty highlight on. Do you know what I mean? I don't want it to be super obvious, but when you notice it, I want you to notice it. I want you to see that it's a, like, obviously it's pink, so it's not going to be the most natural, but a natural, beautiful, glowy highlight. So for setting spray, I am on my second one of these. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I first of all had a sort of mini size just to try it out, and I loved it so much. And just as I finished that, just by chance, my friend bought me a full-size one for my birthday. So I've had this since July. It's now December, and look how much of it I've used. Like, I will be finished with this in the not too distant future. Like, I absolutely love this. To be honest, what I normally do is pair both of these setting sprays together, one to make my makeup stay and one to sort of melt it into my skin. So this really makes your makeup stay and this melts it into the skin. But I made myself pick just one product for this video, so it had to be the Charlotte Tilbury. So then I just spritz it all over my face. It has a beautiful spritzer, like, look at this, controlled, beautiful spritz. I absolutely love this, and so I just let it dry for a moment, and then we'll go in with eyeshadow. But hopefully you can see my highlighter is just popping in the light. Oh, so beautiful. Then for eyeshadow, I had a bit of a hard time picking, because I've realised eyeshadow is my favourite makeup in general, like my favourite makeup item. But this year I've been a lot more interested in trying out base products, and I have been less interested in trying out new eyeshadow palettes. So I had to really think about which one I've used or loved the most. And to be honest, it's a 5-pan eyeshadow from Natasha Denona. Now, I am not a mini palette girl. I will always pick a big palette over a mini, but for some reason, this palette has just spoken to me and been one of my most used this year. So this is the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette, and it's one of her 5-pan mini palettes, and I absolutely love it. And I think the main reason that I love it so much is this shade here. This is called Galaxia, and it is one of my favourite eyeshadows. It's a beautiful, beautiful, reflective, glittery, shiny pink. Like, I love this shadow so much. Like, I did the most awful swatch there. Let me just build this up. It's just so pretty. I hope this is translating on camera so you can just see how gorgeous and shiny and reflective this is. And I like that you can take this palette in quite a few different ways. For such a small palette, it's so versatile. Like you could go really green, really light, really neutral, a bit of a darker pink. Like there's so many different ways that you could go with this palette. Like let me do some swatches of the whole palette for you. I'm not the best at doing swatches, but hopefully you can see here the range that this palette has. And you can go so deep and grungy. I love this colour, and if you go in lighter it comes across a bit lighter, or you can build it up like this. I just think it's such a beautiful versatile palette, and whenever I'm going away like for a weekend or something like that, this palette comes with me every time. So I'm just gonna do a bit of a time lapse of me doing my eyeshadow because I don't want this video to be a million years long, and then we'll finish off with mascara and lips. That's the eyeshadow. I'm not going to say it's my best work I've ever done, but I was trying to, you know, get it done in a, what is that blend? What is that blend? In a reasonable time so that you're not watching me for a million years. Like, I could blend forever and still never be happy, but hey, we have to stop at some point. So onto mascara, and I struggled to pick one mascara because I haven't really fell in love with a mascara this year. Like I don't have one mascara where I'm like, oh my god, this is the best mascara I've ever had. I'm still hunting for my perfect mascara, but there are two that have stood out for me this year. So the first one is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Legendary Lashes Volume 2. So this has a really nice, soft, bigger brush to it, and I do really like this. I do think maybe the MACStack, I love them for different reasons. The reason that I love this one is that it really separates my lashes. Again, it's not my perfect mascara, so that's why I couldn't just pick one, but I do actually enjoy this. I think though I'm still on the hunt for that dream mascara. I want it to separate, lengthen, give me volume, not flake. Please let me know in the comments your favourite mascaras, because like I said, I'm still hunting. I think this is the one I'm going to use today. So this is the MACStack, and this has a big, chunky, hard, bristled wand to it, but it really does separate the lashes out quite beautifully. I think what I might do is use both of them actually. Use this to like separate, and then use this to try and build up a bit of volume. So let's do that and see how it turns out. Oh, doing mascara on camera is just the hardest thing to do. Like, can you see it's just like separating out my lashes really nicely. I hate a mascara that's too clumpy. You can see the difference? It's pretty. I do like this actually quite a bit. It's still not the perfect mascara, but it does the trick. Okay, so now let's go in with the Charlotte Tilbury and see if we can just bring a bit of volume in. I think it is. I just have to be careful to not make them clump up after separating them out. That's always the risk with too much mascara. Okay. Oh, I think that's pretty. It's definitely given me a lot more volume. Ooh, it's an expensive combo, I know, but actually I'm enjoying these together. If you have them both in your collection, give this a go, because look at the difference. Wow, I love that. I love that. Now, in terms of my lower lashes, I'm not going to lie, I haven't really been doing my lower lashes. I do put eyeshadow on to give them a bit of a definition and colour, but my eyes water a lot, so I've been avoiding putting mascara on my bottom lashes, so I think I'm going to stay true to that in this video. Now, lips. I did let myself pick quite a few options for lips because lips are just so, like, there's so many different categories, and I haven't had one lipstick that is my absolute favourite, but I have had 5 lip products that I have used the most. And in fact, one of them is a repurchase. So we'll start with that. The first one is the Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb in Fussy. Now, I had a mini of this, which I have used up pretty much. There's only a tiny bit in there. You can barely get any on the brush. I don't know why I'm keeping this. I keep thinking to myself that I'm going to do an empties video where I show you all the products that I've used up, but then I just never film it. So you'll have to let me know, do you actually want to see that? Because if not, I'll throw my empties away because I've got a bag full of them. But if you want to see that video, do let me know. But this is the most beautiful gloss. It feels super hydrating and balmy and gorgeous on the lips. You know me, I'm not a massive gloss person, but I love this one. It's just so juicy, has a beautiful pink sheen to it. I absolutely love it. The other sort of glossy-ish product that I've been liking quite a lot is this lip oil from Clarins. So this is in the shade, oh my gosh, Honey. This is the honey one. So I would have picked a different, like a more pinky one, but when I got this, this was the only one in stock. And you can see I've used so much of this because I keep this on my desk in my office, and I'll use this throughout the day. In fact, let me put some on now before we go in with like a lip colour, just to give me a bit of hydration. And it just is a beautiful, glowy, glossy hit of moisture to the lips that doesn't feel too oily, too sticky, too anything. It doesn't really add any colour. It maybe has the slightest bit of a tint to it, but it's more just a glossy, moisturising hit of loveliness. Then I've had 2 products that are relatively similar, which are more like tinted balms. One more glowy, one more not matte, but one's more glossy and one's more glowy. So we'll talk about the Rare Beauty first. So this is the Rare Beauty Dewy Lip Balm in Thankful, and Becky actually gave me this in our Christmas present exchange that we did last Christmas. And this is beautiful. So it adds a gorgeous hit of colour while still having a bit of that glow and that balmy, moisturising texture. This doesn't stay on the lips for the longest amount of time because it is, like I said, a lip balm, but it is just beautiful and it feels so comfortable on the lips. I absolutely love it. And similarly, in terms of feel, is this one from Fenty Beauty, except that this is a bit more juicy, a bit more glossy. So this is, oh my god, the writing is so small. The Slip Shine in Retro Rose. Oh my gosh, you can see that's how much I've used it. That's all I have left. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's both exciting and sad. But if we pop that here, you can see it's just got a bit more shine to it, a bit more of a gloss. And again, it does the same thing. It's beautifully hydrating and comfortable, doesn't last the longest, so you do need to reapply, but it's just beautiful and glossy. And then for when I want to go for a more long-lasting, powerful lip, I've been reaching for this from Charlotte Tilbury. This is going to be no surprise. I talk all the time about this being my favourite kind of lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is, it doesn't say, but I think this is one of the kissing lipsticks. I'll link everything down below anyway in case you want to check anything out. But this is in Glowing Gen, and it is just the most beautiful, beautiful shade. And the thing that I love about these lipsticks is the packaging is just so stunning, but the lipstick is replaceable. So if you finish the lipstick or you want to get a different shade, you can keep the packaging, which I think is just wonderful. So what am I going to use? What am I going to, oh, I haven't swatched it. Let me do the last little swatch for you. So you can see it's not completely matte, like it's a bit of a glowy lipstick, but it stays on the lips, the colour stays, and it's very pigmented. So you can definitely see I like a pinky mauvey kind of lip. There's a bit of a trend going on there. What shall we go with? Should we go with the Charlotte Tilbury? So I'm just gonna, because I need to get some tissues, I'm just gonna get rid of the gloss off my lips. Hopefully they're feeling a bit more hydrated. Normally I wouldn't put it on to take it off, but you know, for the purpose of the video. So yeah, let's just pop this on and then I'll brush through my hair and we will be done. So that's the lip. I should probably use lip liner, but I'm just not a lip liner girl. I'm not a lip liner girl, so there's no point in even pretending. So let's just brush the hair. Try and not get all these swatches on me. So brush this dry shampoo through that's been sitting. And then there we go. We have the finished look using all of my favourite products from 2022. And I am just obsessed with how beautiful this looks. I think my skin looks really nice and glowy and healthy. I love the lip combo with the sparkly eyes. I mean, of course, I've used all my favourite products, so obviously I'm going to love this, but you'll have to let me know what you think. Like, I love it. Yes, we could have done a bit of a better blend on the eyeshadow, but we'll let that one go. Collectively, we'll let that one go. But let me know what you think. So that is all of my favourite products of 2022. If there's anything you like the look of, I will have linked everything down in the description box for you. If you do decide to try anything, please let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. And I'd love to hear down in the comments what some of your favourite products of 2022 have been. Is there anything that I should be trying? Anything you want to recommend to me? Please let me know, because I'm always looking to buy more makeup. I don't need it, but I want it. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, because I love making makeup content. So please let me know if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.